My fiancé secretly took out a life insurance policy on me. Then the accidents started happening, and I realized I wasn't safe anymore. I should have seen it coming sooner. Alyssa was always the planner in our relationship. She liked structure, hated uncertainty, and had a habit of thinking 10 steps ahead. I used to admire that. But looking back, she wasn't just planning a future with me, she was planning something else entirely. It started with a conversation about life insurance. We'd been engaged for a few months, just sitting on the couch one night, when she casually said, "Have you ever thought about getting life insurance?" I gave her a look. Why? Am I unhealthy? She laughed. Obviously, I don't want anything to happen to you. It's just smart financial planning. It didn't sound unreasonable. A lot of couples do that before getting married. But what caught me off guard was how ready she was. Specific companies. Exact payout amounts. She even knew which ones processed claims the fastest. I joked, "You've been watching too many true crime docs." She smiled, but didn't deny it. That should have been my first red flag. At the time, I assumed she meant we'd both get insured. But over the next few days, she only ever brought up my policy. "Did you look into those quotes? Which one do you think makes the most sense?" She wasn't pushy, just persistent. Nudging. I didn't think much of it at first. She was good with money. Always planning ahead. But then, other things started happening. Alyssa suddenly took an interest in my finances. She asked how much I had in savings. Wondered what would happen to my business if something happened to me. She casually brought up the idea of making each other beneficiaries on everything. Again, none of it seemed aggressive. Just logical. Caring. So I agreed to look into life insurance. That was my first mistake. One night, after dinner, she handed me a stack of forms. "I found a great policy," she said. "No medical exam, high payout, fast processing." She'd already filled out most of it. All I had to do was sign. I hesitated. Not because I thought she had bad intentions, but because something felt too fast. Still, I signed. And then I made sure she never saw what I did next. The next morning, I called the insurance company and changed the beneficiary, from Alyssa to my brother. Just in case. I didn't tell her. I wanted to see what she'd do next. That's when the bank incident happened. One afternoon, I got a call from my bank about a failed login attempt on my business account. They wanted to confirm if it was me. It wasn't. Alyssa was the only other person home that day. When I asked her about it, she laughed. "Oh, that was probably me. I must have clicked the wrong link while checking our joint account." But our joint account was with a completely different bank. I didn't confront her. I just nodded. But now, I was watching her, the way she had been watching me. And the next time she asked, "Do you ever feel lightheaded when you drive?" I finally started to get it. I didn't change how I acted around her. If she suspected I was onto her, she might adjust, or accelerate, the plan. So I played along. Nodded at her suggestions. Talked about our future. Pretended everything was normal. But I started paying attention. That's when I noticed the symptoms. At first, it was subtle. I'd wake up feeling sluggish. Not just tired, like my brain was foggy, limbs heavy. I thought it was stress. But then came the stomach issues. I'd eat dinner, feel fine, then an hour later, cramps. Nausea. Dizziness. I told Alyssa. She acted concerned. Too concerned. "Maybe you're overworking yourself. Let me handle dinner for a while," she offered sweetly. It sounded supportive. Until I realized, every time she cooked, I felt worse. So I tested it. She made pasta, like she always did on Fridays. I told her I had a late lunch and wasn't hungry. Didn't touch my plate. That night, I felt fine. The next morning, I swapped our coffee mugs when she wasn't looking. She was the one complaining of nausea now. I kept my face neutral as she curled up on the couch. Must be something I ate, she muttered. That's when I knew she was poisoning me. I started researching. The symptoms matched slow-acting toxins, something that would gradually wear me down. Make my accident look natural. I checked our medicine cabinet while she was out. Everything seemed normal. Then I checked the trash can in the bathroom. Buried under tissues and packaging, I found an empty bottle of crushed sleeping pills. Over the counter. Easy to buy. Easy to slip into food. But I needed one last confirmation. So I checked her laptop. She was smart. No saved searches or obvious files. But when I checked her browser history, I found auto-suggestions buried deep. How long do sleeping pills stay in your system? Best way to make a death look accidental. Life insurance payout for accidental deaths. I stared at the screen, heart pounding. She wasn't planning in case something happened to me. She was planning for it. Still, I didn't confront her. Not yet. I needed more. A few nights later, she asked me to grab something from the garage. I didn't think twice, until I stepped onto the stairs and the second step gave way beneath me. I caught myself, gripping the railing as my foot slipped through a jagged hole. My heart slammed in my chest. Alyssa ran over, gasping, "Oh my God! Are you okay?" Her reaction was perfect. Too perfect. I looked at the step. The wood hadn't just rotted, it had been cut. She kept acting, touching my arm, eyes wide. "That could have been so bad. You need to be more careful." I nodded. "Yeah, I guess I do." She smiled. But I saw it in her eyes, disappointment. I had enough to know she was trying to kill me, but not enough to prove it legally. Yet. So I gave her one last chance. I told her I wasn't feeling well, that I might take some time off work. Stayed in bed longer. Acted weaker than I was. Let her think she was winning. Then I set up cameras. Small ones, in the kitchen, garage, hallway. Nothing obvious. And I waited. 2 nights later, I woke to a strange noise. I stayed still, listening. Alyssa was in the garage. I checked the cameras. She was tampering with my car, pouring something into the brake fluid compartment, then wiping down the hood like nothing happened. My blood ran cold. She wasn't waiting for me to collapse. She was getting impatient. The next morning, I acted groggy, distracted, rubbing my temples. "I've got to run some errands," I muttered. Alyssa looked up from her coffee. "You sure? You still don't look great." I forced a weak smile. "I'll be fine. Just need some air." I saw the flicker of anticipation in her eyes. I left. Drove a few blocks. Parked. Walked straight to my brother. "I need you to do something," I said. He nodded, and called Alyssa. I stood beside him as he dialed, putting on his best panicked voice. "Alyssa, it's Daniel. Liam's been in an accident. The brakes failed. He lost control. He's at the hospital." There was a pause. Then she inhaled sharply. "Oh my God, is he alive?" He hesitated. I don't know. It doesn't look good." Silence. Then I heard what I was waiting for, not panic, not heartbreak, relief. A slow exhale. Like a weight had lifted. Then, steady, "Okay. I'm on my way." She thought she'd won. An hour later, I walked through the front door. She was on the couch, scrolling on her phone. Didn't even fake sadness. Then she looked up. Saw me. Alive. Her face drained of color. "Sit down," I said. She opened her mouth. Closed it. I thought. "Sit." She Saturday. I pulled out my phone. Pressed play. Footage of her in the garage, pouring something into my car. Her hands started shaking. "Explain." I don't know what that is. Really? I laughed. You weren't trying to kill me. No. I was. I thought the fluid was low. I slammed my hand on the table. She flinched. Stop lying. She tried again. Softer. Tears in her eyes. I made a mistake. I love you. I wasn't thinking straight. I smiled coldly. Pulled out the insurance paperwork. Wasn't thinking straight, or hoping I wouldn't notice this. Her breathing hitched. I leaned in. You're not the beneficiary. She blinked. What? I changed it. Before you even started your little plan. Her mouth opened. Nothing came out. I stood up. You have two choices, Alyssa. Pack a bag and leave. Now. Or I send this, I pointed to the footage, to the cops. She sat frozen. Then bolted. Ran upstairs. Packed in silence. 15 minutes later, she walked past me. Head down. I loved you. No, I said. You loved the payout. She left. And I was finally free. As soon as the door shut, I called the cops. It's me. I have everything. Footage, paperwork, evidence. She tried to kill me. I need to file a report. The next morning, I walked into the police station, lawyer beside me. The detective was skeptical. Until he saw the footage. By the time it ended, he exhaled. Jesus Christ. Alyssa was staying at a hotel. Maybe planning to skip town. Didn't matter. 2 days later, there was a knock on her door. Security cameras caught it all. She opened it. Officers. Warrant. Cuffs. She collapsed. Screamed. Claimed innocence. Didn't matter. The prosecution built a case in weeks. The evidence was airtight. The footage. The browser history. The poisoning. The brake fluid. Her lawyer said it was circumstantial. But then they played the call. When told I was in the hospital, she didn't ask if I was okay. She asked, "Is he alive?" The jury took less than 2 hours. Guilty. Attempted murder. 15 years. No parole for 10. A few weeks after the trial, I got a letter from prison. From her. I didn't open it. Just tossed it in the fire. Watched it curl into ash. And for the first time in months, I finally felt safe.